So now what we're going to do is we're going to add category filtering, which you could put, I mean, I've had some clients request to put categories in menus before, so you can do all sorts of crazy things, but it certainly makes sense that we could put a category menu on the left-hand side, click on it, and then filter our movies by category. And I guess the first step in that, let's go ahead and actually show the categories underneath each movie, I guess here in the listing, and then we'll do it on our detail page later. Okay, so step back into your widget, open up your favorite text editor, and let's go ahead and keep it going, making this guy more and more complex. All right, I guess after the title, before the release date, let's go ahead and put our for each loop here. Okay. So we're going to do $ for each, and we'll just call it movie cat in, and then we'll put movie.genre, because genre was the name of the category that we put on the content type. If you changed it and put it something else, then it's not going to work. And then we're going to, just out of good practice, we're going to end our for each before we provide what's going to happen in the middle of that for each. And then I would tab in, right? Okay. Then let's go ahead and put a href equals okay. And then what we're going to do is put here in our title, it's going to be movie cat dot category name, camel case like that. And if we actually just threw, if we didn't put this, we put movie cat, we would see that it's got a category name, a velocity variable name. So if you want to do troubleshooting, you can just do that and it'll spit out the object, and then you can see every property of the object and then pick one of them and then do that. Right? Now for the href, since this is the movie listing, we want to come back to the movie listing and load the category into the URL. Okay. But let's just make sure we're getting our movie categories first. So let's just put a pound sign in there and go nowhere. Okay. And then do the proper velocity variable referencing here, shift, bang, curly brace, curly brace. And then each movie can have more than one category, right? So we want to probably put a comma after each, but we don't want a comma if it's the last one in the for each loop. So how do we do that? There is a little velocity tool, which just always has next. And this is just a nice little convenience thing, which all you have to do is, I'm pasting it right now into, there it is. I just went and chatted into the GoToWebinar. And so instead of putting just a comma, we put this little if statement. If my for each loop has a next object, comma, space, else end. Actually, you can do if is it top for each? Let me look in the It is documentation. I'll put my code back in just a second. Topmost, something like that. .com documentation and velocity user's guide, and it's top. Next. For each topmost, is that really it? Topmost? Yeah, for each topmost has next. Here, let me paste that to you too. That could be if you got double loops, you can do for each topmost has next. And you can even step outside the current loop you are in and go to the parent loop and see if that guy has a next. So that can be useful. And now I'll put the code back over here, ready to paste. That's working, except I didn't put a BR. So since I'm anal retentive, let me put a BR here. I gotta fix it. It's bothering me. All right, save and publish. So then if you want to know what we'll have to do before we start clicking on those categories, feeding them in the URL, reading whatever we set in the category out of the URL, then adjusting our query, we have to see how to actually query for categories within content, right? So once again, our content search manager comes to the rescue, right? So go ahead and go to your content type here and click on any one of the categories, right? And click search. And then go down next to this little down icon next to the search, click on it, show query, and then copy this. That little guy right there. All right, so if I copy that guy out of there, go back to wherever my widget is, browser, DG movie listing, pop up my text editor over here, and right up at the top, well, actually, let's put it right here for right now. I got to put my categories.action var. Actually, I can set that right inside my query. Well, no, because all right, we'll just leave that right there for right now. I have to do a couple things. One, we don't want to adjust the query at all if we aren't passing it in the URL, right? Now, we could be real slick about it and do it with only JavaScript and stuff like that, but you guys can play around with stuff like that later. I am going to show you how to read stuff out of the URL. And so first, we're going to need to show how to actually grab things out of the URL. So let's go ahead and do an if statement at the very top of our code. If, and then end, all right? And then inside the parentheses of our if statement, we're going to do request dot get parameter. And that means if something's being passed in the URL, and let's go ahead and get, I guess, and it needs to be text. So you double quote it in there, and cat. Okay. Then what we would do is, inside our if, we would set I'll call it cat passed equals request.getParameter cat. Right? You know what? Instead of cat passed, let's be very literal and say cat var, because that's actually what you're passing. Okay. Then let's grab that velocity variable that we're setting and put it right here where action var is, or whatever you clicked on whenever you were doing your query for a category. Right? Because now that's going to be a variable. And then we do our bang and our curly brace and ending curly brace, right? That protects us from it being confused with text. And now we need to do an if over here that says if cat var is set, then go ahead and make a query including cat var, else go ahead and just set the query to a normal query, right? So I guess I'll just copy that down here, right? We're going to do a little if statement. So we can say if, and it of course should be after that, the rest of that query is set, we're just going to append the cat var at the end if it's true, right? So if, and I guess we could just take that whole if statement here. Let me just take that whole thing and put it down here, right? And we can put it inside of that. That makes sense? Okay. So if request.getParameter cat, we're going to get that category variable. And then we're going to set query equals query plus double quote, right? Then the first thing inside of our double quote, we're going to put a space, so we can actually put some space at the end after the current date. And then we just grab that little plus sign with categories with a cat var, and we paste it there right after the space. Makes sense? I will paste that into the GoToMeeting. Okay. But be careful what you copy and paste out of the GoToMeeting. And let's go ahead and take that path and paste it right in here on our href where we had the hash. Right. And then we need the movie category velocity variable name. So copy the movie cat.category name, copy that whole thing right there. And we're going to paste it onto here after we put a question mark. And paste. So I just took exactly that, pasted it right after putting a question mark there, and then we're going to change it. And all we have to do is right in between category and name, we just need to put velocity var category dot moviecat dot category velocity var name. Let's copy and paste on my page here. Edit. There we go. And hopefully I remembered that right. So then if I click on action, I got 1, 2 action movies. So if I click on action, then that's still returning me all my movies. So something is not right there. Making fun of my fake British accent? I didn't put cat equals action var. Yeah, for some reason I just sometimes random babble into whatever accent I feel like. Sometimes it's Russian. Okay. So after the question mark, let's go ahead and do cat. That's what I did say. URL method request I get parameter cat. Yeah. Cat equals. That we were just missing this right here. Right? And then that will work. And copy this and paste this right here. Save and publish. And then I click on, I've got 2 adventures, which will make Leon the Professional disappear. So I click on that. That makes Leon the Professional disappear. But if I click on action on Mad Max, then that's going to make Mad Max and Leon the Professional appear. Right. I click on drama, I'll only get 1. Makes sense.